Here's a story. Story. Chabad all had yeshivas from the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe's father. Previous Lubavitcher Rebbe's father was called the Rebbe Rashab, Rebbe Shalom Dubner. He established Chabad yeshivas. Before that, Chabad, boys used to learn usually in the synagogue. They would have a teacher. It was not really organized, but he made official yeshivot, where they would learn Chassidut and they would learn Gemara, they would learn Halacha, and etc. The problem was money. Where do you get money from these things, especially in Russia? In Russia, the government was definitely not in favor of the Jewish religion and were not supportive. And not like in America where the government helps out religious institutions. Maybe they helped out religious if it was their religion. This, of course, was before communism. I'm sorry, I'm wrong. This was after communism came out, right? Give me a second. Give me a second. Hold on. Let me get this thing right. No, this was before communism. This was before communism actually took hold of the yeshiva of Chabad was in a place called Rostov. It moved to Rostov in the beginning of the First World War. First World War moved to Rostov. Rostov is far away from the center of Russia, far away. Rostov. So it was big problems with money, but there were a lot of pupils. A lot of pupils came and they sat and they learned. How many there were, I don't know. I mean, in those days, even 20 was a lot, but it could be that there was even 100, maybe more. The manager of the yeshiva, which it doesn't say who the manager's name was, it could have been there was a fellow called Yecheskel Fagin. I don't know if he was the manager. In any case, whoever the manager was, it was a very, very difficult job because he had to keep the kitchen open, and he had to provide for the physical needs of the pupils, and he had to provide for wages for the teachers. The teachers also had families they had to eat. Things were getting worse and worse. It came a rich person to this manager, and he said, I'm willing to provide for your yeshiva, I don't know, half a year, tremendous sum of money, but I have no children. I want a blessing that I'll have children. Blessing for children. Now, the manager of the yeshiva desperately needed money. He desperately needed money. And so he said, all right, I'll give you I give my blessing. You have my blessing, 100%, I will bless you. I would have got to go to the mikveh first, goes to the mikveh, and he puts on, his Shabbos garments. You have a blessing. This year, you'll have a son. Gives him the money, tremendous sum of money, and now he pays off all of his debts, and he's got money in it. And a couple of months goes by, 3-4 months go by. No son, no child. He goes to him and said, "What's the story? Well, you give me a blessing, I'll have children." He says, "It'll be in its proper time." Of course, he was just a Jew. He was a regular Jew. And every Jew should give blessings. It's a good thing to give blessings. Every human being should bless everybody else, right? Especially Jews have power to give blessings. Jews are chosen people, the sons of God and everything. But he was just a regular Jew. And he wasn't sure. So he didn't know exactly what to do. So he went to the Rebbe. The way I understand from the story, I have to put the story together. But anyway, the way I understand it was the previous Rebbe, that he was the Rebbe at this time. And he said, listen, I got money from a rich Jew, and he gave a lot of money, but I gave him a blessing that he'll have children. And what can I do? So the Rebbe said, how can you do a thing like that? How can you promise him he's going to have children? You can bless him that you hope he'll have children, but promise take money from him. Well, you can't do a thing like that. He said, well, Rebbe, maybe you can do something. He said, what can I do? He put his head down. He said, I see in heaven that this guy is not going to give birth. He won't have any children. It's written for him. It's written, and that's his lot in life. He's not going to have any children. Rebbe, please, you have to do something. Rebbe said, what can I do? Maybe give him the money back. I said, I can't give him the money. I already paid the money. Can't do anything. So he went back home. The man was the manager was going out of his mind. The rich man was badgering him. Already a year passed by, and he didn't have any children. His wife didn't get pregnant, and absolutely nothing, no sign of this blessing coming to fruition. The excuses already ran out. He ran to the Rebbe, said, Rebbe, please, I'm begging you, please, I didn't do it for myself. I did it for the yeshiva. I know I shouldn't have done it. I shouldn't have given so the Rebbe put his head down, and he thought, and he said, okay, you can tell him that in another month his wife will become pregnant and she'll have a child. He went, and sure enough, that's what it was. So he said, so the Rebbe said, but never do that again. Never do that again. You haven't got the power to bless. You're blessed. You can give a blessing, wonderful, but the promises, to make promises, that you can't do it. And what do we see from this? We see that the Rebbe already told him that this man it was decided from heaven he wasn't going to have any children. But it was a desperate situation. How the Rebbe managed to do such a thing, I have absolutely no idea. Nobody has any idea. But nevertheless, we know that with the power of the Rebbe is to change things, physical things and even spiritual things. And even more, I just finished reading a speech given by the Rebbe, and in it says, why did God tell Moses to go into Paro's palace, to go into Paro? It says that Moses, when he would pray to God, he would go outside of the city, because the city where they were, the capital of Egypt, was filled with idolatry. For sure, the house of Paro was filled with idolatry. For sure, that was the source of it. How could God tell Moses to go in? So the reason was that Moses had the ability to change Paro. And we see that because Moses said to Paro, I'm giving you a chance, let the Jews go. And he went in time after time, let the Jews go. And even though that God promised Moses that I'm hardening Paro's heart and he's not going to let you, but nevertheless, even though that God says about a person, and even though the person is such a lowlife as Paro, and God himself declares that Paro is not going to repent, nevertheless, a person can repent. The power of free will is so great that he can repent, and that's the power of Moses. That Moses can do the impossible. Even if God promises something, Moses can change the decree. And that's what the Rebbe did. The Rebbe said, even though it's been declared, this man is not going to have children, but the Rebbe was able to change the decree. So it should be also, the Rebbe should change the decree of the world. And the Rebbe said any second is going to happen. We see that nowadays, being a Jew is not a thing you can ignore. People cannot ignore their Judaism anymore. It's a thing that's ringing and buzzing inside of every single Jew in the world. Even Jews that don't have anything to do know what it means. Even non-Jews are starting to wonder what's going on over here. Why are people? What are the Jews doing that they're so hated? What? It's buzzing. Jewish identity is waking up, and it's all in the merit of the Rebbe going around in the world and waking up Jews that the essence of Judaism is the Torah and the commandments, putting on tefillin, keeping Shabbat, keeping kosher. That's the essence of Jewish identity. And soon all of the Jews will do Torah and the commandments because that is Judaism. There is no other logical reason. Just like this man gave birth, his wife gave birth with no other logical reason.